Hi and welcome. Paradox Insider is back. And what an exciting lineup of games, news, and fun we got for you. It's fantastic to be back.
It is definitely fantastic. And hello, everyone.
My name is Paula, and I'm the event manager at Paradox Interactive, here to host this grand celebration of all things Paradox. And we're doing this as part of the Game Dev Direct together with our friends at The Mix. Over the next hour, you're going to hear news about your favorite games and learn a couple of surprises too.
Well, I do love to learn, so I'm excited to be here.
Joining me here is my good friend Troy, our community manager for Crusader Kings and Imperator Rome.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Insider and to
Yeah,
Paradox.
It's definitely good to be here, that's for sure.
And as long as we're celebrating, happy birthday.
And happy birthday to you, too.
It's such a completely strange coincidence finding out that we share the same birthday and it's on the day of this Paradox Insider.
Yeah, it really is.
Looks like we're working for our birthdays this year.
We are, but I really couldn't ask for a better partner to work with on this. It's actually kind of poetic that I'm here with you here at Paradox Insider. And PDXCon is actually what brought me to Paradox in the first place back in Berlin.
That's true. I remember that's the first time I met you.
It was indeed. Yes, it was. And now we're working Paradox Insider together. So, Paradox Insider. What is Paradox Insider? Those of you that aren't familiar, we're going to be discussing a lot of expansions that are coming up, a lot of new features, maybe even some future details, future dates, events in the future, stuff like that.
Actually, Troy, sorry to interrupt you there, but as long as we're talking about PDXCon, I do have the first surprise of the day.
Oh, I do have surprises. Do tell.
Well, I'll do better than tell. I'll show. Roll the trailer. I am so happy to personally get to announce this all-new, all-digital PDXCon event in May. So in just over 2 months, literally around the corner. And there will be activities taking place during the whole month of May, but the main event is happening May 21st to May 23rd.
My heart so full of joy and probably more cholesterol than it should have.
Well, I'm happy to hear at least about the first part.
Well, radiological discussions aside, I'm very excited about PDXCon Remixed and want to hear more. So, Paula is going to go over with Eva and Shams to tell us more. So, see you later, Paula. Bye. Have fun. Bon voyage.
And I am joined now by our Masters of Ceremony from PDXCon, our CEO, Eva Jungerud, and our Chief BizDev Officer, Shams Georgiani. Welcome.
Hello, Paula. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to have you here.
Very exciting to be here.
Yeah, and that we finally get to talk
Yes,
about this, right?
finally.
PDXCon Remixed is happening May 21st to May 23rd, and it's completely free for anyone to join. Let's get back to the core here, because we've been doing PDXCon for several years now. Why are we doing PDXCon in the first place?
Well, I mean, for me, it's very much the essence of who we are as a company. It's a place, and as a game developer, really, it's where we can show our values and the culture of the company. It's, of course, where we can show our games. It's where we can meet with fans, and when fans can meet with us. And when we've asked in the past, when we've asked what's been the best part of PDXCon, it's been very much that. Meeting with us, meeting the devs, the favorite person at your favorite game, etc. So super cool.
Yeah. And that's why we're kind of bringing it to Stockholm, Berlin, Taipei, Shanghai, everywhere in the world, a digital fan event. Everyone's invited and it's free.
Yes, and it's called PDXCon Remixed. Why are we calling it that?
Well, it's digital, first of all. It's our first, or not our first, but it's our biggest digital event ever, which is super cool. I also think there's an aspect of all our games being there, and we can mix it up a little bit between the games, remixed. Of course, in the future, we ideally would like, and this time as well, we would like to do things physical because it is very much about the meeting. But for obvious reasons, it's not possible this year. So we think that it's a great way forward for us. And in the future, maybe we can mix
One day.
both.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, and it's also a little bit of, we want to take a little bit of the old and add a new kind of collaborative twist to the entire
Yeah.
thing.
No, that's actually a very good point because the fan contribution is such a big part of the concept. Shams, maybe you can dive a little bit deeper into that.
Sure. I mean, fan collaboration has always been super close to Paradox DNA in many
We
ways.
make the games.
You tell the
create
stories.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the idea is to bring that to PDXCon this year. We have a bunch of ideas of what to do, but we want to bring in the player ideas of what kind of panels should we hold. And the best of all, we want people from the community to actually host the panels, organize. Maybe they have ideas for tournaments. Maybe they want to present mods, stuff like that. Their contributions of how to make the world a nerdier place.
Yeah, and fans can take action starting right now.
Yes, the website is open, so you can go on there and register. That means you'll get updates on when we release stuff about the schedule, etc., etc. But it's also the place where you can contribute, or you can both come with suggestions on what you want to hear about, and also what you yourself might want to contribute with.
Yeah, and submissions are open until April 9th. After that, we need some time to go through all of this content.
We're hoping for a lot of content.
Yes, we do. But what else can fans expect from PDXCon this year?
I mean, we're going to have all the standard stuff that we usually do. We'll have our award show that we always do. But for those that don't want to necessarily be in front of the camera, there's tons of stuff to do as well. To listen in on panels, participate in voting. We have community challenges, tournaments, a lot of ways to kind of be interactive with your favorite developer if you want to.
Yeah, we will start to reveal more about the agenda over the next couple of months. But you mentioned some new stuff there, and we also have the announcement show where we usually reveal our new stuff. So,
Yes.
but do you have any hints?
It's all top
there?
secret. Top secret. The only thing I can say is 21st of May.
Yep.
No, but it's. I mean, last time we revealed Crusader Kings 3, I have goosebumps just thinking about that.
Yes.
And I can tell you that we will be announcing a new game from the Paradox Development Studio.
Yeah, let the speculation begin.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you so much, Ebba and Shams, for joining us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
We can't wait to tell you more about PDXCon Remixed. Head over to the website, sign up, let us know what you think, and submit your own activities.
Welcome back, Paula.
Thank you so much. It's quite a journey to and from the far end of the stage.
Yeah, you didn't tell me this would involve a lot of walking. You promised this would be easy.
When did I promise that?
I assumed it was going to be easy.
Well, luckily, you get to relax with an interview next. So let's move right on to that.
I can do that.
There's a lot of stuff to share today on Paradox Insider, from brand new surprises like PDXCon Remixed to closer looks at our favorite games, like our original iconic series Europa Universalis. Johan is joining us from our new studio, Paradox Tinto in Barcelona, and he's got some cool stuff to share about our new expansion, Leviathan.
Howdy, y'all. With us now, we have the studio manager for Paradox Tinto joining us to discuss all of the new exciting changes coming to Europa Universalis for this year. Welcome, Johan Andersson, to the show.
Hello there.
So it sounds like 2020 was a very big year for Europa Universalis, correct?
Well, that's one way to describe it. Yeah, it was a pretty awesome year. It was absolutely great for EU. I mean, first of all, we released Emperor, which was a huge success. Arguably, or no, not arguably, it's definitely our most successful expansion we've made for the franchise. And we celebrated the 20th anniversary of EU. I mean, when we started making EU, I was still a kid, and now I'm like gray-haired. I'm still working with this franchise, and it's 20 years it's been out. And what's cool, really cool, and probably a little bit cooler for me personally, is that we've started a new studio here in Spain called Paradox Tinto, which is just awesome to work with because I'm coding and designing and have a kick-ass team, and I just love working with them. It's just super fun.
Well, I'm very thrilled to see what Paradox Tento is going to bring us in the years to come, and I know our community is as well. And a little bit over a month ago, we announced the newest expansion for the EU4 universe, and that was Leviathan. Would you mind walking us through a little bit about what that is?
Well, one of the things we want to do in Leviathan was to strengthen the concept of playing tall. There was one thing that we have not been entirely happy with in EU4 so far. With playing tall, I mean that you're playing a country that's small up to mid-sized and you want to stay that way and not just necessarily conquering everything you see just because you can. But it's a legit strategy to create a powerful country that is not just huge on a map, but huge internally. So we're adding 3 new features. First of all, we have concentrate development, which allows you to move development from your territories or from your subjects into your capital, creating one of these huge cities like Paris or London or Constantinople or whatever huge city you want to create. And we all synergizing nicely with that one is the second feature, which is centralized state, which will decrease the governing cost of that state, because governing cost is connected with the development of a state. And the governing cost will be reduced in this by spending government reform progress. God, we have much of similar names in this game. And finally, we have the expand infrastructure, which allows you to stack manufacturers in a single province, multiple manufacturers, almost as many as you want if you keep expanding infrastructure. But while all of this is super cool and makes playing tall very good, that's not really why we're here today. We were here to talk about another big thing, right, for Leviathan?
Yeah, isn't that the diplomatic options that the community are looking forward to so much?
Yes. One thing we wanted to do with the diplomatic system was to make it more fleshed out. And with that one, we looked at the feature we added in a previous expansion called favors. Favors were something you gained from allies over time, so that when you had been allied with someone for a few years or a few decades, you could call in the favors to have them join in offensive wars that you were not necessarily interested in joining in the first place to help you out. So we thought, how can we expand this? First of all, we added a new diplomatic action called Curry Favors, where you use a diplomat to gain favors over time with that nation. And then we could use all of these favors to stir the pot, so to say, without necessarily declaring war. So you'll use these favors to have them abandoning their allies, or have them return a core promise to you, maybe a province they had gained from you earlier. And you could also have them damage relations with the third party, effectively destroying blocks that were forming against you.
Oh, yeah, I could see how that would be a real game changer, especially in multiplayer, instantly sabotaging an AI to turn against one of your human opponents. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to transform the diplomatic side. I mean, it will be a slightly less purely war and military at times, and it will give an advantage to nations with lots of diplomats or other diplomatic types of ideas.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited to see it, honestly. It sounds really interesting and really complex, and thank you so much for sharing all of those Leviathan updates. But we also have something else to discuss today, the EU4 subscription plan.
Yeah, I mean, during the last 8 years, we released quite a lot of expansions, content packs, music packs, and we're perfectly aware that not always everyone is able to buy them upfront, even if they want to play them. So in 2020, we started with early test of a subscription model, and now we're happy to announce that for $4.99 a month, you will be able to access all current and future content as long as you have an active subscription. And it will go live on Steam on March 18th this year.
March 18th sounds like a big day.
Yes, March 18th is the first big date for EU this year.
Well, thank you again, Johan, so much for chatting with us about everything. I know we're very excited for Leviathan and for all the changes to come to EU4 this year.
Can I add something?
Oh, yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
I mean, first of all, I want to thank you to all the guys in the studio for doing this work in these hard COVID times. And I also want to thank every single team at Paradox because of all the awesome work you're doing. I want to make a special shout out to Tinto team here in Spain, because I love you guys and you're doing a great job. And finally, I just want to say a huge thank you to the community, because you're awesome and I just love making games for you. I mean, I will never stop making games because it's so fun to make games for you guys.
That's right. And thank you again, community. Without your passion, we would not be where we are today with EU4. We hope that this year to come will be exciting for you, and we hope Leviathan helps you to enjoy EU4 for years to come.
Thanks to Johan for sharing what his team has been up to. Troy, where are we headed next?
Well, now we're headed from Universalis to a game with Universe Allies.
Oh, no,
where we...
no. Seriously, you're not allowed back here.
Wait, what'd I do?
Troy, we specifically had a meeting about not keeping that dumb joke in the show, remember?
Well, I figured we had the space for it.
Oh, seriously, just head straight back to the interview area and think about what you've done while you go there.
Fine.
Up next, we're going to hear about Nemesis, our new expansion coming to Stellaris. And joining Troy now is another of our development stars.
That's right. I am here with a longtime Paradox favorite, the game director for Stellaris, Daniel Moragord.
Thank you for inviting me, Troy.
And thank you so much for being here. I know we're all busy, and I know 2020 was a very trying year for everyone. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened with Stellaris in 2020?
Absolutely. 2020 was a challenging year for everyone. There's no denying that. The team has been working from home for about a year now, and I know it's been really tough for some. But ultimately, I'm very proud of all the things we managed to achieve in 2020. On the console side, we managed to release Apocalypse, Synthetic Dawn, as well as Distant Stars. And on the PC side, we managed to release Federations, Necroids, as well as a free update in May.
Well, it was, all things considered, sounds like a very good year for Stellaris.
Yeah, ultimately it was a record year for Stellaris, and I really want to thank all the players out there for supporting us.
Oh, as part of the community myself, thank you so much for your hard work. And now, for the important news, can you tell us a little bit about the future of the future?
Absolutely, I'd be glad to. Today we have some news for both console edition as well as for the PC edition. So I thought we'd start by talking a little bit about the changes for the console edition.
And I hear we have a trailer for that, correct?
Yes, we do.
So let's go ahead and get that trailer rolling right now.
So together with Tantalus, we're continuing to improve the experience for the console edition players in 2021 by adding a lot of free additions to the game. So by bringing the game to the 2.6 Vern version of the game, we're adding Galactic Community as well as archaeological sites, which will improve the diplomatic and discovery aspects of Stellaris. But we also have some more exciting news to share, actually. So we're very happy to announce that the Lithoid Species Pack, as well as the 2.6 Vern update, will be available to all console players on March 25th. But there's also more news to happen in 2021, so stay tuned.
So it sounds like console players have a lot of good news coming up this year. But I got to ask, what about the PC players?
Absolutely. I'm very excited to talk about our next expansion, Nemesis. But before we start diving into the details, let's take a look at this trailer to properly set the mood.
Following the destruction of the entire Oblogon system, not even the squabbling diplomats of the galactic community could ignore the encroaching darkness.
We humbly accept the emergency powers the Senate has bestowed upon us. Our union shall be consumed by petty feuds no more. As custodians, we will lead the charge against this terrible crisis that threatens to end us all. Our differences shall become our strengths. Beginning today, we stand as one.
And so, we rally to the custodians as a beacon of hope. They alone seem to stand between us and utter oblivion. And yet, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow.
Oh, I'm so excited. That looked amazing. I can't wait for Nemesis. Can you explain just a little bit about what we saw just now in that trailer?
Yeah, so in Nemesis, we're focusing on essentially disruption and chaos. We're focusing on all the things that can go wrong, which is very much in stark contrast with our previous expansion, Federation, which focused on diplomacy and cooperation. So in Nemesis, you will be able to choose if you will become the crisis or if you will be the custodian that aims to stop it. So essentially, we're setting the stage for these two Nemesis to battle over the fate of the galaxy. Yeah, and we're also adding espionage and a new intel system.
I know previously in one of the dev diaries, we talked about how you could explore other alien empires using this espionage and intel system. So that sounds really interesting to me. And I do have to ask, though, you mentioned something about Crisis or Custodian. Could you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Crisis, Become the Crisis feature is a new feature in Nemesis. So you'll be able to do evil deeds, unlock new powerful bonuses, and eventually you'll be able to threaten the existence of the galaxy by consuming its very stars.
Consuming the stars. Does that mean you'll actually be able to blow up or destroy stars?
Yeah, that's correct, Troy. You'll be able to blow up stars.
Man, I'm really excited. I know the community is going to be really excited about it as well. It sounds like an interesting feature. And you also mentioned Crisis and Custodian. Would you like to tell us about the Custodian a little bit?
Yeah. So the Custodian is basically the chief crisis fighter. So we want the players to be able to become the crisis, but we also wanted, the crisis to have its own natural enemy, like its nemesis. Mm-hmm. So the galactic community can band together to elect their chief crisis fighter, which is essentially what the Custodian is. So the Custodian gets access to emergency powers and can also build a galactic defense force fleet to help fight the crisis.
Okay, so I become the Custodian. I get out there, I beat up and defeat the crisis. I come home, saving the galaxy to critical fanfare from everyone. Everyone's joyously celebrating in the streets, and then what? Do I just go back to being a faceless Jeff mopping stalls for the rest of my days?
That depends entirely on you, Troy. Perhaps in order to fight the crisis, you needed to ask for more powers. You need to ask for more permanent powers, powers that you might not be so willing to give up. So perhaps you instead try to sway the galactic community and turn it into the galactic imperium, with you as its rightful ruler. So that sort of embodies what we're trying to do with Nemesis. Even though one crisis may be defeated and the galaxy saved, the next crisis might be just around the corner, and this time it's a diplomatic one.
I really like the premises so far. You have these two arch nemeses fighting each other, going head to head, jeopardizing or trying to save the galaxy. But it doesn't just end there, and that's what really interests me. So I've got to ask the question that I know is going to be the first one asked by the community as soon as they hear this news. When can I become the Emperor?
We're happy to announce that Nemesis will be available on April 15th.
April 15th. You heard him, folks. Get out there, follow the social media channels, wishlist the expansion now, and get ready to light the flame.
Thank you, Daniel and Troy. An underhanded monster like you should feel right at home in Nemesis. We have plenty more in store for you today on Paradox Insider. Coming up, we're going to talk to Brenda Romero about Empire of Sin, and Alexander Altner is going to share some new stuff that is coming to Crusader Kings 3. But Before we get to that, though, I have something else to share with those of you who are hoping to see more of the terrible secret of space. Paradox have a surprise for you located right here in our own galaxy. Let's have a look.
Approaching destination. Initiate descending protocol.
Look at it. This view never gets old. Imagine everything we have left to discover here.
Welcome home, sir. This is the dawn of a new era.
That's right, we're returning to the Red Planet. With me today, I have Magnus, the product manager for Surviving Mars.
Hi, Troy.
Howdy. So development has resumed on Surviving Mars coming 2021. That's really exciting. But for anyone that hasn't tried the game or has been living on a different planet for a few years, can you tell me what the game is about?
Sure thing. Surviving Mars is a survival colony builder from us at Paradox Interactive. It's one of the most iconic games in the genre, with more than 5 million players worldwide. We released the game back in 2018, and ever since we released the DLC Green Planet back in 2019, our fans, you guys, have been, telling us that you want more content, and so that's what we did.
Wow, new content. Does
I
that
know.
mean that there's going to be a sequel to Surviving Mars in the works?
Well, just to set some expectations here and now, this is not a sequel. Rather, development has resumed on the game. What I can tell you here today, though, is that there will be an expansion coming out later this year.
An expansion.
Yeah,
Very
no.
excellent. Now I'm super excited, but I have to ask, who's working on this new content?
I'm happy that you're excited, Troy. So are we. The fine folks at Abstraction Games, based in Holland, they've done a great job so far. And so we believe that you guys have a lot to be excited about.
Well, I'm excited. I know the community is now going to be very excited. So I have to ask you the question that I know is going to be the very first one off the lips of everyone of our community. When can we expect this new content from Abstraction?
Well, you don't have to wait so long, actually. We're going to launch a free update on March 15th, actually. And that's going to focus on the game's tourism mechanics. So we're going to expand the game a little bit. So we're happy to
March 15th, like 2 days from now.
Yeah, 2 days from now. Yeah.
That's really soon.
know.
Man, that's exciting.
But that's not all. We also have a content creator pack in the pipeline as well. That's been developed by a longtime community modder, Silva. He's actually famous in the community. He's done some of the best mods out there, such as modular apartments and.
He's the one that did the geothermal power plants in the retro cinema, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Very
the guy.
nice.
That's the guy.
Very nice.
So he's gonna develop, or he's developed a few new buildings to the game, and they're also gonna be launched on March 15th alongside the free update.
Well, if you haven't gotten into Surviving Mars, now definitely seems to be the time. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to tell us while you're here today?
Well, I can just add that if you haven't picked up the game already, or if you want to pick up any, new cool expansions, the game will be on discount on the platforms where the game is available. So please go check it out.
That is definitely great news for anybody that wants to try it.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited to show you what's coming up for Surviving Mars.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Magnus.
Thank you, Troy.
Very cool stuff. So, who would have thought today we'd hear how our team is reviving Mars?
See, it's catching on. The dumb pun is one of life's simplest pleasures.
I actually hate myself a little bit right now. Please just move on.
All right, then, I guess. Paul's now going to go talk to Brenda Romero of Romero Games.
That's true. Heading over there right now.
In the meantime, we move from the Red Planet's hostile wasteland to 1920s Chicago's hostile wasteland, where enterprising criminals had to work on maintaining their surviving bars.
And there she is, Brenda Romero, game director of Empire of Sin. Hi, how are you?
Hi there. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Brenda. You released the game right after Crusader Kings 3, so no pressure there, right?
None at all. Yeah, we here in the studio played a lot of CK3 when it came out, and we definitely felt some pressure seeing the incredible reception that it got from press and fans. I mean, huge congrats to the team.
Yeah. And you released the game in December. Can you tell us a little bit about that release?
Yeah, of course. So when Empire of Sin was released, the reception was decidedly mixed. So on the one hand, there was a lot of love for the game. People loved the setting, playing as the different bosses, the gangsters, the blend of RPG and empire builder and strategy. But on the other hand, there was also a lot of feedback for us to consider and a good number of issues to address. So we wanted to strengthen what players loved about the game while immediately addressing the things that were getting in the way of them enjoying their experience in Empire of Sin. In addition to a couple of hot fixes right after launch, we've also recently released our first big update.
So it sounds like you have a great community.
Oh, we absolutely do. So our players have been invaluable in guiding our post-launch plans. And as I mentioned, you can already see we've jumped on their biggest issues and most pressing issues and taken those suggestions to heart. In fact, recently we announced 2 new things so that we can make the community's connection to us even better. First, we formed a community council, and we call them the family. So it's a group of active, passionate, and most importantly, super vocal players. And they've already given us some amazing feedback and suggestions that we're following up on. So they're kind of the voice of the community, you'd say, and the dev team is right in there with them. Second, we've created an opt-in beta branch so that all players can test out the development build while it's in production. We're looking forward to continuing to work with our community, of course, and we're continuously gathering feedback in Discord and on the Paradox forums. We're pretty much everywhere.
Wow, so there seems to be a lot of things going on at Romero Games and generally at the development side of the game.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. You know, in Empire of Sin, we believe we have a really great foundation, and we're improving that foundation every day by adding features that players want and building upon the world we've created to deepen the gameplay experience. Players know that we're committed to ongoing development and to support. And like I said, we're in all the forums, we're listening, we've got eyes and ears everywhere. And besides improving the base game, we are really looking forward to releasing our first DLC later this year. So there's big things in store for that. But first, we needed to focus on the 103 and 104 updates.
That's very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about those updates?
Yeah, so 103 is already out there, and that was called the Safe House. So it addressed some critical issues and exploits that our players, well, they helpfully pointed them out to us, as well as fixes and some quality of life updates that players asked for. So it's a big, long list, and they've really been our immediate priority ever since launch, listening to players and focusing on their requests, making sure that the feedback that they provide is getting to us, getting heard, and getting acted upon. So we're all over the forums and Discord, and we're always happy to hear from players. Our next big patch, 104, is known as the Auto Resolve update. That probably gives you an idea precisely what that contains. It is very much anticipated, and there'll be lots of other improvements along with that as well.
All right, so I'm very excited. I'm looking forward for the DLC and all of these updates, and luckily I get to play the games early.
That's very good for you.
Yeah.
So speaking of games, before we part ways, I want to tell you a bit about an announcement we have to make. So I'm really excited to let everyone know that Empire of Sin will be included on the Xbox Game Pass beginning on March 18th on console and PC. So if you have Game Pass, please do check us out.
All right, but Brenda, before I let you go, do you have any tips for those newcomer mobsters out there looking to take over Chicago?
I do. So first, reload your gun. That's pretty critical. But probably the real best advice I can give is go check out our forums.
Yep.
And go check out the dev diaries. There's so much advice, and it differs depending on which developer is playing the game. So my favorite boss is Daniel McKee Jackson, but others have other favorites, and all that information's over on the forums.
That's really great advice. So thank you so much for that, Brenda.
Thank you. It was great talking to you, Paula.
With new content and update coming, make sure to check out Empire of Sin.
Well, I'm really excited to see what Empire of Sin has for the upcoming months, but there's just one thing I never understood about that game.
You mean, why would anyone think Prohibition would work?
Well, I mean, I guess there's that, but really, why does it have to be an empire of sin? I mean, it's not a complicated process. You just build up your monthly piety, maybe grab the Defender of the Faith perk, and then reform your core tenets, and then boom. Prostitution, alcoholism, not a sin anymore. You're good to go. Your empire's great.
Troy, this is obviously an excuse to talk about your favorite game.
Well, of course it is, Paula.
Well, I can see that your next guest has already arrived, so you should probably head over there.
I should probably head over there, but I'll see you soon. The first thing we should announce today is that our game design lead, Alex Oltner, is taking over as game director. It's now his ship to steer, and we know it's in good hands. So, congratulations, Alex.
Thank you, Troy.
And we would both like to thank the community. Without your interest and enthusiasm, the game launch would not have been as smooth or as wonderful as it was. And we hope to increase that enthusiasm with the months and years to come. So, Alex, now that you're game director, does that make you a king or a duke?
I do believe that it makes me a king. The old game director, Henrik Fåhraeus, has ascended to the ranks of emperor and become creative director. So I remain his loyal subject.
On that subject, we launched the game. One of our goals was to launch it as a complete game experience. That was one of our core values. I think we did a good job, and I hope we continue doing so. And one of our goals is to do that with flavor packs. For those that aren't familiar with flavor packs, maybe you could enlighten us.
Absolutely. So a flavor pack is bigger than you would expect a traditional Paradox cosmetic pack to be, but distinctly smaller than a major expansion. They focus on a specific area or a specific culture or region, and they contain things such as graphical assets like clothes, hairs, beards, units, whatever, awesome new music and audio, and plenty of new content to experience, such as events, decisions, or interactions to take.
So it sounds like while it enriches and enhances the game experience at a basic level, it doesn't add any core gameplay changes, right?
We avoid changing anything major with flavor packs. They are supposed to be smaller and more focused and really hone in on enhancing an area. We want there to be a very clear divide between what is a flavor pack and what is an expansion, so that there is no confusion. Of course, there will be a patch containing a lot of exciting fixes and a few new features. And of course, if you own the expansion pass, you will get the flavor pack.
I know the community's excited. I know I'm really excited. And I hear we have a special trailer for everybody today, right?
We do.
Let's go ahead and roll that footage then.
Remember, there is more to these Northern Lords than meets the eye. Real strategy requires cunning.
Well, I'm super excited. I know you're super excited. The big question, why did we choose the Norse to start with?
Well, as you know, it's a time-honored tradition for Paradox to make sure that Sweden is overpowered in every game we make.
You heard him, overpowered.
Well, on a more serious note, we know that the Norse are very popular with players and that the sort of tribal raiding gameplay style is very appreciated. And this early starting date where they are present is fascinating in that Europe is shattered, it's easy to carve out your own destiny, and we wanted to enhance that experience.
So we have this kind of preconceived notion, I know most people do, of the Norse as these Viking raiding pillagers, brave warriors of the sea, but that's not all they were, right?
No, that's not all they are. They definitely still are brave warriors of the sea, and the player will be able to live out whatever fantasy they have regarding that. But we do also want to show the fact that they have a complex and rich culture. They were traders as well as raiders, and of course, prolific adventurers above all.
So it sounds like we have a very deep, vibrant tapestry painted of their daily lives outside of that pillaging, raiding mindset. How and what can we expect to see this represented as in the Northern Lords flavor pack?
quite a few things. One of the things that excite me the absolute most is the ability to pack up your things and leave your frigid homeland of Scandinavia for richer coasts. You will be able to go on an actual adventure and settle in foreign lands. There is also a new dueling system, which the Norse make prolific use of in a very specific thing called trial by combat, which was a very Norse thing to do to settle disputes. And of course, there's also a slew of new goals to pursue, such as founding the High Kingdom of the North Sea.
So it sounds like we have a whole long-ship full of new Norse-themed events, escaping thralls, braggart wanderers, duels and curses between, rival court members, shield maidens, stuff like that. That's a lot of new content for the Norse culture and society.
Yes, and that's not all. We also have Blot, where you can sacrifice your prisoners to the gods. As you mentioned, there are shield maidens that you can designate, or they can come to you, and they will serve in your ranks or even protect you from murder attempts. You have the Jomsvikings, a group of crazy fundamentalists that are as likely to raid you as your Christian neighbors.
Of course.
If you don't live up to their harsh ideals. You can raise rune stones with exciting motifs, and you can enjoy 2 new Dynasty Legacy tracks, Adventure and Pillage, respectively. And not only that, but we've reworked the Dynasty Legacy system to be more exciting.
Oh, I love the Dynasty Legacies so much. And I know we talked about how the Norse aren't just these pillaging raiders, these warriors of the sea. And that's not right? That's not all they were. How did we portray that difference in Northern Lords?
Well, we do several different things, and of course, they aren't all raiders. When they go raiding overseas, you might see them instead strike a trade deal with the locals, getting something that benefits both parties, and also more close, down-to-earth things, such as sending poetry, writing poetry, or just enjoying time with your kids and having snowball fights or going sledding.
So it sounds very, very in-depth. I know I'm super excited for the content. I can't wait. And I know our community is super rabid for content. They've been waiting months for this. And as soon as this airs, there's going to be one question on everybody's mind. When?
We are excited to say that already next week, on Tuesday, March the 16th, you'll be able to get your hands on the flavor pack. And of course, if you own the expansion pass, you will be getting the flavor pack.
This week, that's so soon. I know I'm super excited. I know you're super excited. And for those of you out in the community, I know you're excited. So get ready to get out there and live your history. Alex, thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for all the information, and thanks for sharing with us about Northern Lords.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Alex.
Hello, Paula. I guess this is the end of my dynastic line.
I guess so, but thanks for dropping by.
No worries. Thank you.
You can fabricate a claim on this content very, very soon.
So we had Crusaders and Martians and mobsters. Oh my.
Do you feel like you got a lot of cool stuff for your birthday this year?
Yeah, I would have honestly settled for a gift card. We've just been getting so many presents today.
Yeah, is it maybe too much? Should we have set a lower gift budget?
Well, I mean, thankfully, we're not the only ones celebrating our birthday today, so we can share it with our next guests, can't we?
That is very true. Up next is City Skylines, our cities management simulator game that is celebrating its 6th anniversary this year. And it's not just us at Paradox that are celebrating. Let's have a look at what the community has to say.
Happy 6th birthday, City Skylines.
Happy birthday, City Skylines from Cities in a Snap.
Wait.
Fun fight, City Skyline. No.
Happy birthday, City Skylines.
Happy birthday, City Skylines.
Happy 6th birthdays. Happy birthdays.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy 6th birthday. Happy birthday.
สุขสันต์วันเกิด City Skyline.
Wishing Paradox and City Skylines a happy 6th birthday.
My favorite part about the game is actually the community that surrounds it.
I love this game.
Thank you for 6 years of creative city building, fun challenges, and new friendships.
It's the best city building game that I've ever played.
It is my favorite game.
Parabéns, Colossal Order e Paradox Interactive pelo 6º aniversário de City Skylines.
there are always new things to discover.
Muy buenas, concejales. Soy Chebasto y hoy quería felicitar a Cities Skylines. ¡Felicidades, Cities!
Happy birthday, Cities! And with us to represent the game here today is Helena. Hello. Community manager for City Skylines. And Samantha, the community manager from the game developer Colossal Order. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So we just saw a lot of love from the community. How does it feel like from a community manager's perspective to see something like that?
As a community manager, it's amazing. Like, our community is so awesome. From the hardcore players who record and stream regularly, to the modders who bring these brilliant ideas and assets to the game, to our players that follow us on social media. We have a really great group of old and new players who are contributing in their own way. Either it's their screenshots or video tutorials. Everything they do has really built this solid foundation that we have.
Samantha, or aka Avanya, because you are also a well-known content creator for City Skylines. But from Colossal Order's perspective, how has it been like building cities and watching it grow like this over these past 6 years?
It has been an amazing journey for us to just see the players take the game beyond our original ideas, and just the creativity and the mastery of the game they have. It's been amazing to watch. We've done ours by adding DLCs, with new content, giving them more transportation options, green alternatives and industries, and of course, there's the radio stations and content creator packs, all to let players create their dream cities.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken there, you were one of those creators who brought one of those packs to life.
That's correct. I did the European Suburbia one.
That's the one, yes. But now let's dive into the building blocks of cities and look at cities by the numbers. So cities' combined population stretches beyond 333 billion citizens living in 74,532,487 cities. These are some pretty mind-boggling numbers, and it seems like we have a very productive community.
Yeah, we definitely do. It's amazing to see numbers like that. And like, every day we are amazed by our community's creativity and mastery of the game. And their work actually goes beyond the game itself. Absolutely. From the beginning, 6 years ago, we've really wanted to include and engage the community to build the vibrant community that we have. We've done that in a few different ways. We have worked with cool content creators making videos and tutorials. We have hosted meetups at events. We have participated in panels, and we host one of our community's most favorite events, our global build-offs.
All right, so it feels almost impossible to talk about cities without mentioning the mods. And I think we saw a number in the video there. There were over 240,000 mods created or something like that. And that seems pretty unique.
Yeah, that's really incredible. We always expected players to mod the game, but they've taken it to an extent that's really been a surprise to us as well. And mods especially have actually been an inspiration for us. we've seen what the community has created, and that's inspired features in the game.
Right, like the ability to track where traffic is headed, or enable and disable traffic lights or road building guidelines, right?
Yeah, exactly. And those are just a couple of examples of players inspiring us. And from the start, we wanted to work with the modding community and encourage it. And over the years, that's taken the shape of a modding beta, where modders can test out their mods before a major patch is released and prepare any updates, just making for a smoother experience for players. And we've added a road editor that was developed based on feedback from our modding community. So it's just been incredible to see our modding community grow over the years into what it's become today.
All right, and now we're here, and 6 years is quite a milestone. How will you celebrate?
We're gonna party! No, but really, we're excited to continue focusing on cool mods and amazing players and the community at large, and continue doing cool events, including an announcement I'd like to make right now, which is the Berlin Build-Off. Jason, aka Ami Polizei Funk, in collaboration with Paradox and the Berlin Stadtmuseum, with the help of some other talented content creators, he has rebuilt the map of Berlin, and now he challenges you to create a bridge in the city center.
Oh, wow. So where can I join and when?
It's easy. Officially, the contest starts right after Paradox Insider, and you can go on our social platforms to get information. You'll have about 5 weeks to build something and submit it, and you could potentially win some very cool prizes. So all the rules and information are on our social platforms. So we encourage you, if you're not already, to follow us on social media.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much, Helena and Samantha, for joining us. And you heard her. Head over to social and join that challenge. Happy birthday, Cities!
Yeah, definitely. Thanks again to the Cities team. And you know what, Paul? I think that does it. I think that's it for us. I think everything for Insider is now outside.
Yeah, and what an awesome show we've had. Leviathan, Nemesis, the Northern Lords, and the South Side of Chicago.
Not to mention a return to the untamed surface of Mars.
Yes. And of course, we revealed PDXCon Remixed, coming to an internet near you on May 21st. And remember, we want to hear about what you want to see, do, and share, so please head over to the website and sign up.
And Paula, this has just been a delightful birthday.
Yes, I can't think of a better way we could have spent it, actually.
Or better people to spend it with.
Oh, thank you. And thank you. We hope that you've enjoyed this Paradox Insider, and there will be news about those upcoming games very soon. But until then,
stay safe.
Stay sane.
And go play some video games.